Hey peeps, we are doing an unboxing today of the Oracle of Heaven and Hell by Travis McHenry. This is published by Rockpool Publishing. It's obviously on color theme for me. Always happy to see a black and white and red deck. But I've really been feeling personally very called and inspired to explore demonolatry and to reconnect with the energy of working with demons within the Goetia. And I was looking for a deck that could kind of give me that feel that was a little bit different than Fallen Angels and the Angelarium series. So I saw this on Instagram and thought, let's give it a try. So we're gonna see how it is, see what it's like. Apparently one side, each on the card, there is both the light and dark aspect represented. So it says there can be no light without darkness or darkness without light. Functioning as either a tarot or an oracle, every card in this deck combines infernal and divine powers via a goetic demon and the Kabbalistic angel that rules over it. In addition, the astrological meaning of each spirit is included and their summoning sigil shown behind them. The cards have both positive and negative meanings, which should not be seen as either good or bad, but simply as two parts of a whole. So it's 72 cards and there is a guidebook, and here is the back and the top, and then that is the side. So I'm very intrigued to see how this will work. And it's just that time of year. I find clients and students are kind of feeling this type of vibe, Kabbalistic or goetic vibe. And so I'm hoping I will get a lot of use out of this. Now, I did have the Occult Tarot a long time ago. I think I did a video on the channel about it, but I had gifted it because I was much more connected to the Fallen Angels Oracle. If I like this deck, I am considering repurchasing the Occult Tarot. Of course, now my nose starts to run, guys. One moment. Did that off camera so you didn't have to experience that. It's like the congestion still from this flu that Vincent and I had last year. But anyhow, if I really like this and I find I'm working with it, then I am going to get the Occult Tarot. I think over like the last 2 years, I feel like a few of you have reached out to me in private message and just said, hey, really like this one, think you would like it too. I'm referencing the Occult Tarot now. So I'm on the fence again, but at the time it didn't call to me. I didn't feel as connected with it as I did with the Fallen Angels Oracle. So we'll see, but here we go. Okay. So it's a nice matte with embossing there. I really love this. This is definitely going to be displayed. And I, on my, my shelves, I really love this idea of balance and that we can work with both as well. I'm not saying that's a new idea at all. I'm just saying right now, I love this idea of the light and the dark. There's something about approaching the energy of Yule that really gets me in that space anyhow. Oh my goodness. Guys. Okay. So I'm in love with this. For packaging, they get an A++ on my end of things. Red and black and white. Hello. Oh my goodness. Yes. Well done packaging wise, guys. It's really an experience. This is super beautiful. And then here is the guidebook. Nice. It looks like a weighty guidebook, and it's got this like it's not like the velour matte that we felt a lot of guidebooks have lately. It's almost like a weighted paper feel to it. I like the way it feels. I just love this imagery. I'm so drawn to it. It's so freaking beautiful. So there's 161 pages. Like, look. Okay, aesthetics-wise, they are winning for me. So let's just see. Oh, wow. So you have 14 pages of an intro. There are some card spreads. And then speaking about summoning, sigils, guides, Seal of Solomon, goes over some of the associations for certain goetic demons. And there's a small introduction, and then you get into the card meaning section. This is it looks to be a nice guidebook. Okay, so our angel is in red and our demon is in the black colored font here. And then here are the meanings for the poles. Nice, you get a solid page. You get a paragraph for each side. You all know that most of the time I do not work with reversals in my decks, but for this one, obviously I will be. I also like the aspect of working with this and bringing balance by working with both energies as you move throughout the day. So I'm kind of visualizing this as part of my morning draw experience. Okay, red edging, happy. This is she's thick. She's thick. Okay, it's already a little bit warped, but I'm gonna be really honest with you. All of my rock pool decks do that kind of warping thing. It came this way. This is a little bit disappointing to me, but I will say when I did purchase this deck with my own funds. When I ordered it, the packaging, like Amazon didn't ship it in a box. I don't know why they didn't, because I had put, you know, do the order as a whole in a box. But they shipped this separately in bubble wrap, and the outside of the bubble wrap was like really, it looked like it had been through a lot. So I'm not sure if that ended up happening. Do you see how it's curved? I'm not sure if that ended up happening just from transit, but I will say that all of my rock pool decks do that. Like even my Lost Oracle right now is doing that as well. So it just seems to be part of how I experience them, or how they work with me anyhow. All right, here is my one gripe. So far I love everything about the packaging. I don't like this kind of like fake flame thing. I wish that had just been like a straight up red color. That would be much more pleasing to me, but this is a nice backing on the whole. I just wish that it looks like a cheap flame laptop background. That's not my favorite. However, I do like the sigils that we have going on here, and I love that red gilding. Okay, let's talk about cardstock. So it is a typical rock pool. It is like a matte, a flat matte. It's not a satin matte. And yeah, I mean, you can kind of see how it's already starting to do it. But that's okay. I knew purchasing it that that's what I was going to be getting into. So let's go through the imagery. So it does have that kind of old school Solomonic artwork vibe to it. And so we have the angel, yes, the angel with the light side, and then when you flip it, there is the demonic energy with the dark. I like it. And so if you were holding, I almost think I want to kind of display it like when I do my daily draw and then leave my pull out on the altar. I almost kind of want to display it like that so I get an insight into both. So there's anger and new beginnings, immortality and love and wisdom. That's a beautiful one. Ingratitude and the creation of all things. I kind of want to flip it so my demon's at the top, because I prefer the demonic, slightly denser in its earth energy base essence that we call demons. I prefer that energy. So we have delay and divine power. And I think you could look at this as well as like, okay, if I'm experiencing unrestrained living, then how does rectification bring balance to that, right? Like we could look at, okay, what's coming up as an energy that I want to bring some balance towards in my life. And you could work with one side of this essence to bring that balance. So for instance, to bring the angelic essence towards the demonic essence for you in order to bring balance, or vice versa, right? Ambition in the light of understanding. So it's not quite, the graphic is like, it looks more old school on the demon side and a little bit more updated on the angelic side, but perhaps that's more that it is darkened. So we have laziness and patience, blasphemy and divine blessings. It is definitely weighty in the hands for sure, but I enjoy that feeling. Deception and divine forgiveness. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the names because I'm going to butcher them. Laziness and neglectfulness with divine grace. I love that you have the sigils right there so you can bring that into magical practice. Jealousy and victory. Indiscretion and lie telling, refuge and finding peace. Wastrels and vagabonds with loyalty. I don't know. I just like the, you know, there's a lot to interact with here, and yet it's not over. There's not too much going on in the imagery, and the white background is very like kind of clearing for my vision. And so I like the way that it kind of gets you to be a little bit still with the imagery and not, you know, feeling overwhelmed. Oh, I love Zapar. Atheism and the rejection of spirit with revelation. Well done there. I like that. Scandal and justice. I'm not quite sure how you would work with it as tarot, in that it's 72 cards, not 78. So you would be missing a few of those cards. And I do think that affects the structure, right? Like I feel like 5 cards out of tarot, that affects the traditional structure. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to look at the guidebook one more time before we finish the unboxing and just see. Ooh, criminal enterprises and protection. Like that one. The imagery is really well done. Well played, guys. I like it. Yeah, I'm happy with this purchase. I'll be able to use it, and it does feel different to Fallen Angels and my Angelarium decks, in that I think this is more like a very specific, I have a very specific way to work with it just right out the gate, because it does have both the angel and the demon in each card. And so anytime I'm looking for more perspective, I want to bring balance, or I want to offer other options, other doorways, other things to explore for clients, I feel like this will be a great option. Aw, here comes my bud Asmodee. I love Asmodee. Lust and weak wills with clemency there. Rebellion and submission to a higher order. Aw, fur. War and strife with obedience. See, and I think, you know what this would be great for too? Shadow work, right? Like, as well as bringing balance, it's also going to give you some interesting insights into your shadow work. So fraud and misrepresentation with breaking the circle. There's Halphus with falsehood and ritual and ceremony. Malphus, this reminds me of, Vincent had a book he loved when he was like 5. It was a chapter book, like a middle reader's chapter book that my partner at the time and I used to read to him. I think it was called Blue Jay the Pirate. And this imagery reminds me of the artwork in that book. Just total side note, that was cruelty and love and submission there. I like this one. Solitude and divine comfort. Oh, that's beautifully chosen there. extreme opposites or opposing factions with motivation. We'll pull a few more, and then there's still so many more to go, guys. I don't want to have 20 minutes of just, I think you get a feel at this point for, you know, are you going to enjoy it or not? Is it something that you want to bring into your collection or not? We will pull a card at the end. You know, sometimes I do that when I feel called to. I would like to do that. I'd like to get a feel for what that's going to be like, but I just want to see if they offer. Okay, so no, it doesn't really speak to the. It says it can function much like a tarot deck. The meanings were not derived from religious texts, but rather from existing astrological traditions. Okay, so it doesn't really go into that. Very interesting. I'm intrigued. So let's do a pull together. Let's see. All right. So what do we need collectively all together? Anyone who is called to watch this unboxing, what do we need to explore themes of balance and integration around? Fornius with fruitless labor and Omael with fertility and multiplicity. Okay, so this is card number 30. See what we think. Okay. So from the demonic side, Fornius, the 30th spirit, Fornius is a great and mighty marquis who appears in the form of a terrifying sea monster. He teaches and makes people wonderfully educated in the art of rhetoric and causes people to have a good name in the knowledge and understanding of tongues. Fornius makes you beloved to your foes as well as your friends. He governs 29 legions of spirits, partly of the order of thrones and partly that of angels. And then there is this either angel or demon governs a specific birth period. So if you were born between August 12th and the 16th, Fornius would be a servant for you. And then we have Omael, the patient God, Psalm 71:5. Yes, I am reading scripture. For thou art my hope, O Lord God. Thou art my trust from my youth. People born under Omael's influence distinguish themselves in anatomy and medicine. He protects against sorrow and despair, brings patience, rules over the animal kingdom, and watches over the generation of beings. He also influences chemists, doctors, and surgeons. This is interesting. Soul guardian of those born between 9:40 and 10 a.m. Moral guardian of those born on April 18th, June 29th, September 9th, November 20th, or January 31st. And physical guardian of those born between August 12th and August 16th. This is, okay, just personally kind of funny because I am attending a concert with a friend of mine tonight and they were born on August 13th. So this will work well for them. Here's what I see. This was kind of my thing with the occult tarot too, is like, I have information. This feels like you're giving me information, but you're not giving me the way in which I'm meant to build relationship with each card insofar as a meaning that feels personal, except for on the card itself, we do have those keywords of fruitless labor and fertility and multiplicity. So if this was a daily draw, first of all, I would want to work with Fornius over Omael. Again, I apologize if I'm butchering the pronunciation of that name. Only because I naturally go more demonic in entities anyhow when I want to work with these type of energies. But also I like this idea of that I could work with this energy to help me be able to speak eloquently and in convincing ways if I were working with this as a draw for the day. And then I could balance that with, okay, so if I have that ability, how can I marry that to what I want to create and experience with that fertility and multiplicity component there with Omael. So I think there's a lot of ways that you could work with this. I do think, based on what we just read with the guidebook, that the guidebook's going to give you some information, but it's not necessarily sharing wisdom on how to really connect with this energetically. So if you don't want it to be a deck that just sits on your shelf, which is and has been my concern with decks similar to this in this style, I think you're going to really want to build relationship with it and connect with the deck. So I would encourage you to do something like daily draws where you're journaling and you're kind of developing your own system for how you're going to interact with the deck itself. Otherwise, I do think it could have a tendency to just be something that sits on the shelf that you don't really work with. But if you're very drawn to the artwork, if you want to connect with the angelic and demonic realms, if you're intrigued by demonology, or you want to work with ceremonial magical traditions, I think this is a wonderful deck to have. Also reference tool. It's very handy, easy to use and work with. So I think you can get a lot out of it. I am glad that I purchased it. Again, if I forgot to say this, I will put the Amazon link in the description box below for this one. I really love the aesthetics of it. I will not lie to you. The aesthetics of it is key for me as far as like what's going to prompt me to pull it out for sure, because I do have a lot of decks that are focused on demons. I don't have a lot of decks that are focused on angelic energy though. This will prompt me to pull it out for that. I don't like this flame thing. So I won't be displaying it on my altar space the way that I had thought I might. But I do think it will work well in my working area for sure. So there you go, guys. That's the unboxing of the Oracle of Heaven and Hell. Let me know your thoughts about it in the description box below, or if you have it yourself, what you think. Very intrigued to hear your thoughts. I am sending you guys, as always, oceans of love, and you know I will see you in the next video. Take care.